On today's video, I'm gonna show you the number one thing that I use with highly successful entrepreneurs to accelerate their success and figure out how to get past their roadblocks so much faster. And they're able to grow and scale exponentially after going through this exercise. I heard Tony Robbins speak a few years ago, and he said two things that really helped me. He said, all fears are boiled down into these two things. You won't be loved, or you're not good enough. And that took me into like a deep dive into research and all this stuff, really kind of tying back all the fears and all the things that were holding me back in my life. I was a successful entrepreneur in the real estate industry then. I was a Navy pilot before that and transitioned into flipping and wholesaling houses. And I was able to grow a business from doing one house a year to doing hundreds of houses a year. There were a couple of years we did over 200 houses as wholesales and flips. In there, I started looking back at my path to success and figure out what was it that was stopping me or holding me back when I could only do one house a year for the past few years. There was something in there that was really incredible. So Tony talked about these two things. You won't be loved or you're not good enough. These are the two things that all fears are boiled down to. And usually what stops us is fear. Like we're afraid of something. And then if we can go down those steps of why am I afraid of that, why am I afraid of that, why am I afraid of that, you get down like these 7 levels of why into this point of I'm not good enough or I won't be loved. What that took me to is like all of us are on this journey, right? You have some goal that you want to achieve, something, and I started reading books and presentations on the hero's journey. And so if you look at yourself as a hero, like I'm the hero in my story, you're the hero in your story, and inside of there, you have this goal, you have this thing that you want to do. It's an outward-facing goal. So the original setup of the hero's journey was just a single line of a hero going from some goal, where they are, to where they want to be through some trials. And then what happened was there was a twist that came in to this hero's 2 journey. So you have this inner journey and this outer journey. So the outer journey is the tangible goal that you're trying to achieve. But inside of us, we're going through this inner journey inside of us of trying to figure out what's going on in there. And that inner journey is the thing that we can't see. We need to go through the experience. We need to go through the trials and tribulations. We need to find that guide and that mentor to take us to this place. Other people can see it. A lot of times other people can see it, but we can't. You can go back to any movie in the past that you've watched. I mean, if the whole movie that you're watching is just somebody driving to work, it's not very interesting, right? That person has to go through some transformation. There's trials, there's things that happen. Maybe a bank robbery has to happen, or a car has to blow up, or something exciting has to happen for it to be a good movie. And our life is very similar to that. So what I realized was I went through this whole hero's journey, came out the back end as a successful entrepreneur, and I had no idea how I did it. And it took me, a long period of time. It took me years and years and years, really like 4 or 5 years, to even go from doing one house a year to doing 67 that second year. And the thing that changed was this, there was one thing in there that changed. There's just one thing, and there's one thing inside of you, there's one thing inside of everybody, that if they just change that one thing and they accept that and they figure out how to get past that faster, it will accelerate our success massively. So this hero's journey, let's talk about the hero for a second because it's important in this exercise. You have to understand that the hero has some wound. So you have something that's happened to you in the past. So some wound, some experience. It could be when you were a child, it could be in your adolescence, it could be in your business right now. So you've had this wound and it's defined as basically a continuing source of pain. So it's an unhealed source of pain inside of you that you haven't gone through or processed yet. And so that wound is causing you to change your identity. And your identity is basically defined as this protective layer that you put on who you are, like your actual true self, like your core, the essence of who you are, like who you really are is covered around by this identity, right? And so we protect ourselves with that. So the good thing is we have protection from all of this. The bad thing is we can't actually be who we need to be, who God made us to be, to get to the next level. And that in lies the problem. We need to figure out how to basically go through an identity change to go from where we are to where we want to be, this self that we want to become, in order to achieve the goal that we're called to do, this thing that we're called to do. The problem is we can't be ourselves because we're afraid of being hurt, or we haven't processed this wound that's happening over and over and over again. And we want this goal, we want this outer goal, and really we have to go through this inner journey to be able to hit that outer goal or achieve whatever it is that we are trying to achieve internally, like our soul is calling for something deeper. And you might be thinking this is a real estate channel and this is an entrepreneur channel. Well, this is all about that. If you want to be successful in business, if you understand this one principle, it will change everything for you. There's just one thing, one roadblock right now that's holding you back. There's one thing that if you can change it and knock that down, anything is possible for you. And everybody's at a different phase, everybody's at a different cycle. So I'll tell a story. For me, when I was getting into real estate, I joined this program called 7-Figure Flipping. I paid $25,000 to join it. And I got on a call with my coach, Andy McFarland, and I said, I want to do 12 houses. I want to flip 12 houses this year. I had done one the year before, one the year before that. I was an active duty military pilot. And he said, how are you going to do that? I said, well, I don't know. You're the guy with the systems. You tell me what to do. I'm paying you to tell me what to do, right? And he's like, well, I built this team. It's really amazing. We're doing $3 million a year, and I work 2 hours a week, sometimes every other week. I go on vacations, and I have a team that helps me, and they're really my system. So you really need to hire some help. And immediately I got thrown back and I was like, I need to do this on my own. I'm not hiring anybody. I don't want to hire anybody. I can't do it. And he said, well, if you're having trouble doing 1 house a year and you want to do more than that, how are you going to do 12 on your own? It sounds like you want to spend more time with your family. You want to have more income. You want to have more freedom. You want to keep flying airplanes for the Navy. And how are you going to do all that and flip 12 houses? And so I got off that call really frustrated. I had no desire to be responsible for any other people, to put food on their table, to make their payroll, all that stuff. And so what I did is I got off that call, I did some reflecting, I tried to figure out where I was, I just kind of unplugged from it for a couple weeks, and I called him back and I said, all right, I'm in, I'll hire somebody. And that was the catalyst for me that changed everything. I was able to start delegating tasks, I was able to start offloading things, I was able to build a team. And it actually took 2 hires before I became successful. It took me 4.5 months to wholesale my first house. And so I was dumping money in, I was sending out the marketing, I was getting calls, I was going on appointments, but I just couldn't figure it out. I had to hire a lead manager, and I ended up having to hire an acquisitions rep before I got my first deal done, 4.5 months. But that hiring, that piece, that thing that I said that I would never do, that is the thing that changed everything for me. So as I dove back into that, I looked at other successes that I had in my life. I looked at other businesses. I looked at other things that I've done. And what I realized is there was one decision in all of that that allowed me to go from where I was to where I wanted to be very, very quickly. And instead of 4 years, it took 4.5 months for me in that real estate business to get to the next level, to wholesale that first deal. And then the belief changed in my head. And so my fear at that moment was that I'm going to be responsible for all these other people. And what was holding me back is I've never done that before. I might not be good enough to build this business and grow it. So it comes back to those 2 things that you're most afraid of. Okay, so here's where the exercise comes in. So if we can all agree that we're the hero of our journey, right? We're the hero of this movie called our life, and we're going through some outer thing, there's some outer goal that you want. It's out there, and you know what it is. You know exactly what is different for everybody that's watching this. You've got this goal, this big, hairy, audacious goal, this thing that's out there that you want to achieve. But on the inside, you need to go through a process to kill off this identity, this old identity, to move into the person that you need to become to achieve that goal. You've probably heard before, create goals so big that you have to change the person that you are to achieve it. And inside of that quote really is this concept, this model of figuring out how to kill off this old identity and step into the essence of who you are and who God made you to be to get to the next level. And the quicker we can do this, the easier it'll become. It's going to be challenging and it'll be painful potentially because you have to go through a process of wounds that are continuing to cause you pain and go through that process to kill off that old identity to become who you were made to be. So the way that you do this, I got this from one of the guys who put together the Hero's 2 Journeys. His name's Michael Haig. And Michael said in one of the things I listened to, he said, okay, I want you to think about that goal, like load that big, hairy, audacious goal that you want to achieve, that thing that you want to accomplish, that amount of money that you may want to make, the number of deals you want to do, the growth that you want to have, the business that you want to have, the life that you want to have. Load that goal in your mind and say, I will do anything in my power to achieve that goal. Just don't ask me to blank because that's just not me. That quote right there, I listened to it over and over and over again, probably for about a year, trying to figure out what that meant. And inside of that is the answer to all of this. Inside of that quote is the answer to every time I've ever been successful in my entire life. So you load that big goal and to say, I will do anything to achieve that goal. Just don't ask me to blank, because that's just not me. And to go back to my story about hiring, for me, and growing my real estate business, for me, hiring that first person, that was the thing that I was unwilling to do. When I finally let go of that and said, okay, I'll do it, I'll give it a shot, let's see how it goes, it changed everything for me. That business and every business from then on that I'll ever have, my entire life, the way that I do things, people always ask me, how can you do these things, these such big things? How can you do these things at that level? Well, I surround myself with people who can help me get there, because I changed my belief system. It's not just a one-man show anymore, and it never will be again, ever. So I changed that. In my seven-figure flipping business, I said I will never be responsible for marketing and sales. I never want to sell from stage. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a salesperson, and I don't want to figure out this marketing thing. I just want to run the membership department. I want to put on these awesome events. I want to create this really cool place, and people will just come. They will find out about it, and they'll come in. And I realized after a short period of time that's not possible. I need to learn this skill set. I need to figure out how to market. I need to figure out how to bring people in. I need to figure out how to step on a stage and encourage people and show them that I believe in them and sell them the thing that they need that can get them to the next level, which is our mastermind groups and my books and all these other things. I need to sell them on us, because it's really just serving them with the thing that we're offering them that I know is amazing, because I built it and I believe in it and I've been successful with it, and so many have after me. So those were the two things for me in two bigger businesses that I've launched. I don't know what it is for you, but that thing that you're saying I'm not willing to do, that's the thing that you need to figure out how to do to achieve that goal. You need to become somebody different. You need to kill off the old identity to achieve that thing, to reach that goal. And you'll never reach that goal until you figure out how to get past the fear that's holding you back right now from not doing what's in that blank. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Just don't ask me to blank, because it's just not me. The answer is right there. It's in that word, that little sentence right there. It's there. You figure out how to accomplish that, kill off that, go do that thing, you will achieve your goal 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times faster than you ever will just running into the brick wall over and over and over again saying no. If that's your calling, that is the tool that you need to achieve that calling and that goal. I hope this is helpful. I love this stuff. This is what I am thinking about and structuring the most, this hero's journey, this like customer journey, these kind of things. I'm really excited about the future of this and what my role is in all of this and how I can talk more about this. So if it was valuable to you, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop me a comment, tell me what you thought, share it with your friends, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.